Okay, class. So first off, we are going to be modeling our new critical thinking skills. We need to work on them just a little bit here. And this one's just going to be a little warm up to get us started. So I want you to use your critical thinking skills. And if we remember to properly use your critical thinking skills, you need to first look at what the question is asking you. Okay, so what is this question asking you? That's the first thing. What is the problem? What are you trying to figure out? Right now we have a list of numbers and it looks like we are looking for a pattern, right? To figure out what this blank spot here is. Okay, so that's our first one. What is in this blank spot? So how would you first go for this? So what do you need to know? You need to find out what that blank spot is. What do you need to know to solve the problem? We need to find out what the pattern is. What solutions could work? Are there different ones? Are there different methods you could do this? The one that I would start with is looking at the jump of patterns between the 3 and the 6, the 6 and the 9, the 9 and the 15 and the 24. So they're all different. Let's see, different numbers, same pattern. So 3 to the 6, that can either be multiplying times 2, or you can be adding 3. If you multiply times 2 again, 6 times 2 is not 9, so that one didn't work. But what if we continue? 6 plus 3 gives you 9. Well, does that continue working the whole way? So then we get, nope, didn't work. And then again, didn't work. So you need to be using your critical thinking, try to figure out what can we add by, multiply by, how would you figure out what this next number is? You can talk with your groups after our silent period of about 2 minutes, and then you're going to try to share your opinions. Okay, your next warm up is going to be a nice little Sudoku. So we've done these before. You can try to model these. Remember, you can only use the numbers 1 through 4 once in each row, column, and box. Okay, so, and by box, I mean a boxed off like this. That would be 1 through 4 in there. You would have a different 1 through 4 as seen in here. And so on and so forth. A different one here, a different one in the other one. So you can use different knowledge that you have to try to fill in this Sudoku. Okay, so we can see, hey, in this spot right here, we can see, we have 1, 2, 3 already. The only thing we need in this row is a 4. And same thing for this column here. The only thing we need here is another 4. So then what are we missing in this box here? You can say 1, 2, 4. We're missing a 3. And well, now that's opened up this spot for a 1. And then you might be able to make little notes. What are we missing? In this row, we're missing a 3 or a 4. But if you look up, we can't have a 4 here, and we can't have a 3 here due to these ones in the column. So you can use your critical thinking skills to then say, cool, so a 4 is here, and a 3 is here, and from there, we can find what we are missing. So this is to warm up your critical thinking skills, okay? So I'll be giving you another blank one in just a minute. That's to model how it needs to be done. Moving on, we have our actual problem. And I want you to remember these critical thinking questions as you go through these. What is the problem? What am I trying to figure out? What do I need to know to solve the problem? And what problems like this have I solved before? Can you think of any? What solutions could work and what strategies will work best? So I want you to model different ways that you can branch your ideas out and try to figure out how you will answer this problem. We're going to do this today in a critical debate. So once you decide which way you think the right answer is, who will win, I want you to then split into your groups The ones thinking the multiplying on one side of the class and the adding on the other side of the class. So the problem is, I will take the Philadelphia Phillies. You can have any other team in the major leagues. I will add together the runs to the Phillies score in every game this season. You can multiply all your team's runs together from every game this season. At the end of the season, I will probably win. So what is your vote? Is adding gonna win or is multiplying gonna win? Okay, so we're gonna split into our groups to talk about this. Okay. All right, everybody's in your groups now. Raise your hand if you're on the adding team. Okay, now I want all of you guys to now become part of the multiplying team. Tell me why the multipliers would win. And you original multipliers, you guys are now going to be on the adding team. Now that we're swapped, we're going to have our critical debate. So I want you guys to get your ideas ready in your groups for the next 5 minutes and come up with your different groups. Now there's a couple ways to carry out this problem. Now that our 5 minutes have passed, we're going to break down who the actual winner is. So say we had runs 4, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, and 2. Well, then we had a 0. Okay. Does this affect our adding? We just don't win any, we don't lose any, right? We just keep adding. Okay, so even if somebody said, we got 5 runs, and now we have 3 more runs, and now we have 1 run, and now we have 0 more runs, and now we have 2 more runs. That 0 does not affect our score. We just keep adding up. So you have 8, 9, 10, and 11. On the other hand, I want you to look at multiplying. Now that we've discussed and made our arguments, and we know who's right and wrong, if one of the team games gets 0 runs for our multiplying, that's going to set our score to 0, and it will remain a constant at 0. Why? I want you guys to explain to me. Okay, so we have 1, 5, 3, 2, 4, 1, and 2. Okay, but then we get a 0 run, and that will set our score to 0 because why? Whenever you multiply anything by 0, what happens? We then get a 0, okay? Now, even if we have the same scores we did in the last one, I said 5 times 3 times 1 times 0 times 2. What happens? We have a bigger score in the beginning. We've got 15 times a 1. We still have 15 times 0. We get set to 0. And 0 times 2, what happens? We still keep at 0. Even if we got another 5 here, it's still 0. So by the end, our score will remain 0, while theirs will continue to grow. Okay, everybody? So I want you to think and model, and I want you to create your own real life example of something that you can create a problem like this. Okay, so after a half-hour long critical debate on this subject, you should feel confident enough to be able to create your own problem now. And I want you to see what you can do with it. Okay, so same thing. I want you to create a problem where you can ask, what is the problem? What are you trying to figure out? Maybe do a pattern one, maybe leave a blank spot. What do you know? Can you list out the things that you know from a problem? What is the information given? So in this problem, we weren't given any runs, any of their numbers. All we were given was one person adds them, one person multiplies them, okay? So we don't know what their actual runs are, but you can still model a problem later with it. I know that you need to find out what you need to solve the problem, okay? So what do you need to solve this problem? What problems like this have you solved before? Have you ever seen any problems like this where you're calculating runs and scores? Do you do this every time you're watching a baseball game? Do you do this when you're watching any sport? Can you think of another sport you could apply the same problem or logic to? What happens if you divide someone's score? What if you're talking about golf? What happens then? So how do these scores change depending on what you are talking about? And now, what solutions could work? What strategies will work best in this situation? So I want you to sit out and figure all of that out and create your own problem now.